Good morning, sir.
Hey, Bruno. Looks like it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Um, so you're two PR, so you have two PRs rather than just one? And
I have,
but
yeah,
they build on each other, right?
the, yes, 502 builds on 501.
Right. Okay. All right. And the issues are all updated, so I can do the review of those and everything should work out just fine, right?
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
I'm going to clean up the PRs as we talked about a little bit. And
Well, I saw that you got the issue cleaned up from yesterday, so except for the picture. Picture's really gonna bug me, you know that, right?
all right, the picture. Yeah, no, I took the note, but I didn't update the picture yet.
Yeah, right. I'll give you a break on it for now. But
Oh, so generous.
I am so nice. Yeah. Um,
Actually, I have a quick question. So we were talking about updating the SDK and SGX SSL separately, but where? In
just put it,
or in
put it,
or in the branch?
don't do it on the branch, just do it on a PR for the main branch.
For the main branch, okay.
Yeah. I just want it as a separate, it should, if everything works with that, then we should just be using that and let's be done with it and move on. I mean, we don't need that update in a PR branch because it's not about your DCAP support. It's simply about an update to the SDK. So,
Okay.
and I'm assuming you've tested it doesn't break anything in that case, just do it. So,
Well, yeah, I'll do it separately, and it should be fine, I think.
yeah. The only other issue that I was gonna ask you about, the reserve mem executable. I thought I had another PR on updating WAMR or another issue on updating WAMR, but I'm not sure I put all my notes for that.
Not sure which one is that.
So it's issue 495. It was earlier in the summer.
Wait a little bit because today Chrome is not responding
Oh, lovely.
for some reason. Okay, I don't know what's going on today. Everything is frozen. Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, basically you remember the flag, there's a reserve executable memory flag in the enclave configuration file. I believe it's currently set to, I don't remember if it's set to 1 or 0. It will have to be set to 1 when we upgrade WAMR. So I don't really care what the current value is, as long as we make sure we update it later. So, and there were other problems with the update to WAMR that there's a bug in their tail recursion optimization that flushes a stack, which causes an abort and busts the entire enclave. So that was, at some point I got to go figure out how to do that, how to fix that problem. I was kind of hoping that somebody else would have found it and they'll fix it in WAMR and then we don't have to worry about it. But until we do the upgrade to WAMR, we do not need to change that flag at all.
Okay, now I see that it's
It's an old issue, but it was one I was just going through stuff and I saw and wanted to make sure we're on the same page for it.
no, well, I think the main problem I had with that is that with that, well, I don't know if I think it's set to 1 right now, right? So we have executable memory in there. So that's, I guess, the problem.
But why it's not causing a problem?
It,
It doesn't cause us any issues right now.
no, the thing is that I think that is writable and executable memory. That's the point.
But not
so
it is, but we're not executing anything out of it. It has to be set to 1 anyway when we do the WAMR stuff. Just leave it alone. That's not hurting anything.
Yeah, but usually in the address space, once you are ready to execute, you want executable read-only memory. That's the point.
No, it's not the point. You want to be able to, with a WAMR, you have to be able to page into that. We have no choice. It does not work without reserved memory.
Well, as I wrote, that's necessary with AOT. I think if well, that's a choice that we have to make.
No, it doesn't matter. You have to have it for all code. I've already tested that. You have to have the reserved memory executable bits set for all future versions of WAMR.
Even if you're just using it in interpreter mode?
Yep.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Just leave it set to 1. It's not a serious issue because because we're controlling the code enough to make sure we're not executing out of any of that stuff. So it's fine.
So I think that how to say?
You realize this is the 3rd time we've had this conversation, right?
Yeah, it's likely, but I think that this how to say, adds topics to the conversation of oh gee. What do you want to put inside an SGX enclave, and do you really want to keep low TCP when you have to import third-party external libraries or something like that? And what I mean is that we had these conversations even for the SGX SDK with pthreads and the SGX SSL with the EDL, well, with the Edge API.
Yes, I am not disagreeing with you at all. I think that has absolutely nothing to do with the setting of this variable. Because nothing in our code is taking advantage of it, but it's not exposing any holes.
I understand.
And by the way, the future version of WAMR we'll have to take a look at, but it absolutely requires, and it doesn't matter how you configure it. It absolutely requires that to be set. It won't start without it.
Yeah, at that point, if you want to use WAMR, it's necessary. Thing is that it's like third-party imports basically sort of force you to expand the TCP, whether it's the Edge API or flags or
yeah, but that's
other things.
I mean, to a certain degree, I hear you, You're also the one that's incorporating a third version of JSON into the enclave. So I mean, anything you do adds and increases the size of the TCB. So there are potential bugs in every package we incorporate into it, and we have made reasonable decisions for that. This flag has absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about.
I would rather keep it 0 than 1. But if WAMR requires that, it's well, either use it or not.
Future versions of WAMR will require it. So
Yeah.
if you do the upgrade to WAMR, it's been set to what it's been set at since, good Lord, you can do a get blame on that. And I'm sure it goes back to like the dark ages.
Anyway, just one comment. True that I import another JSON library because it's well, it's comfortable to use it, essentially. But
well, it's a better JSON library, but it doesn't. The problem is it can't be incorporated into the other applications that we have.
And actually, that requires also a patch, and the patch that I use is the same that the SGX SDK uses.
For the Lowman JSON library.
Hello. For the Lowman,
hey,
yes.
Marcus.
For the Lowman.
Yeah.
But let me say also that I am the first one that understood the problem with the SGX SSL EDL, and I'm not using that in well, basically in the tests, in the tests of the enclave. So the PR also gives an example of how to remove that Edge API altogether from the build.
But okay, so is that something you should pull out into this other SGX SSL PR?
So
I mean, if it has nothing to do with decap, then pull it out. Let's just keep the only thing that should be in your dev branch should be decap related stuff. Anything that is useful outside of decap should be moved into a separate PR.
Well, it is decap related, but it's about the verification part.
Okay, then just keep it. Then keep it in the dev branch.
So
my point is that if it's not, we're not including those EDL, the EDL for that right now, right? It only gets sucked in because of the changes that you're making.
No, wait a second. In so basically I think in all the enclaves that we build, we include the SGX SSL EDL. I think this is correct. And we do that, we have to do that because it's probably just due to the verification API that we have for EPID currently in the repo, because it verifies the certificates in OpenSSL in a way that makes makes SSL retrieve the system's local time. And so OpenSSL and then SGX SSL will get the we'll do the call for the local time. And so we suck in those. We have to suck in those that EDL of SGX SSL, otherwise.
So we have SGX. We do not currently include. Okay, the one you're talking about then is SGX TSGX SSL.
Yeah, I think there is one. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the one that SSL uses if you want time, right?
Yeah, I think it has one HAPI to get the time. So
all right. Well, removing that dependency, if you could remove that dependency, push it out into this other PR, but I'm not worried about it one way or the other.
let me try to find the.
No, I can't get at it. All right, someplace I actually was keeping notes. So.
So Bruno, the PR you're talking about, is this the PR you posted yesterday in the FPC channel in Discord?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't yet looked into it.
So Bruno, I am closing 495 and just say we decided to keep it one for now. And just leave it there.
Okay.
And we've had the same discussion 3 different times. We've come to the same conclusion 3 different times. Let's not bring it up again. So let's just keep it. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it's not worth flipping that bit back and forth. So we have other more important things to worry about.
Sounds good.
And Marcus, the decap side for us is documented in issue. What's the number? 498.
Oh,
Yeah,
the issue, I guess, is not linked in the PR. No, it's not.
Yeah, and Bruno, could you go ahead and put links to
498.
500 and 498 in the PR description?
To 548.
I
Yes.
can write this.
Just add a comment to the PR.
Okay, thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus. That'll at least get the references back to the to kind of where it's supposed to, or what we're expecting or looking at for it to be.
So Bruno, one question about this PR. So once this, and let's assume everything is great, it's merged, it's in. Do you already have a rough understanding what needs to be done on the FPC side? We were talking about that briefly, I believe, 2 weeks ago in the FPC meeting. But I mean, did this picture, what needs to be done, did you make progress on forming that picture? Do we have a better understanding? Because back then we were just speculating, I believe.
So the cool thing for FPC is that the picture stays the same. So that's the old discussion that we had on the attestation flow. The attestation flow is what we designed in our FPC meetings long time ago. The
Right.
API is the same. It has not changed.
Cool.
So the main things that I'm expecting that have to be done are dependencies, basically. So there are 2 modules plus a lot of things in the Docker file needed for dependencies that have to be met. And also, this is another question for you. I left that code in this PR, which is the Go code that you originally wrote for, I think, mostly conversion of the attestation in Go. So I was thinking that.
Which, by the way, Mick said, "Get the hell out of there," to the Go code, and Bruno said, "No. Marcus seems to think it's useful." So we both agreed that we were going to bug you about this and see if it's really necessary.
Exactly. Marcus thinks, hey, replace every code you have there with Go code would be a great idea.
You do know that if we
PDO
leave
and
that
Go
in there, that file is assigned to you, and any modifications or updates I'm going to require you to make on it forever.
So I would also propose to rename PDO and then PD Go.
Anytime you want to get in and write Go code, you're welcome to. So.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I can definitely look into that.
So the conversion, and actually, now I don't remember if we need that conversion in Go in FPC. Right.
Well, I thought we had this Go code because initially we were. I mean, how did we do that? So the very first version of the attestation, I mean, my shitty first prototype basically was communicating with the IIS somehow, definitely not from the C code, and then calling this via, I guess, some Go code, and then shipping whatever was present. I came back from IIS, sent it via CGO into this C implementation to verify, to massage, to whatever. And I believe, I think we were speaking about that. So if we write the C code needs to do the curl to IIS. Did we do that in the end? Do you remember? Or did we still have this hybrid approach where we had some Go code responsible for the communication and then just packaging everything in a file?
I don't remember precisely, but I think there was something implemented in Go, but I don't remember the details.
Okay, so we have to study the code in order to understand this better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's necessary or not necessary?
Well, I think it means we don't know yet.
Yeah, we have to reject the code.
Okay, Marcus, I added you as a reviewer. Would you at least comment on the status for that file?
On that Go file. So
there's
say
one Go file. Yeah, there's one Go file in the.
Among 108 files, there must be one Go file.
Yes.
Oh yeah, conversion app.go. Oh. Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, if this is a Go file which is related to FPC, well, I mean, we can place it in the FPC repository if this is needed for FPC, right? Or, but I believe, I mean, it looks like that this is more for testing here. It's
Bruno?
yeah. I will look into that. We
The-
don't have to discuss this right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, only if you want.
Yeah, I'm okay. Can you repeat the question?
Well, so I was just searching for that one Go file, and I noticed that this, if I see it correctly, it's anyway under a test folder. And it looks like that this is basically try to mimic what we do in FPC just as Go code in order to call then the library, right? That you basically test the PDO code in a way how FPC would consume it. This is my understanding.
Wait a second, my thing is freezing here. I don't know what is happening. So I thought there were actually actual Go files for conversions.
Yeah,
not
you
just-
import them. Actually, how does this work? I mean, you import from internal. Does this work? It should not.
there are a couple of Go files in there. But it's all in conversion, what is it, conversion app Go?
Yeah, and those are the conversion files that Marcus wrote.
But are you
Let me-
sure that you're actually using them? Because I mean,
no, I'm not. No, I'm not using them because those are used in well, in the tests essentially.
Yeah.
In the no attestation to evidence. Where is it? Well, there is an attestation to evidence test at some point, which does the whole orchestration. So it generates the attestation, then calls the conversions functions, and then the verification. But the part for the Go conversion should be commented out.
Yeah. So, I mean, just looking at the code, my claim is that you can actually not even compile those two applications.
Oh yeah, it's yes,
Because they try to import from the internal package in FPC.
yes.
But you build this outside of the FPC package, so it won't compile.
That is correct. Yes.
So then why do we have it in there?
To try to fix them and still do the conversion in Go if that's necessary, or I mean fixing those. Otherwise, otherwise I'll remove those. Will you feel bad, Marcus, if I remove them?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I believe they should actually be in the FPC repository, and then we run again this using those tests when we build FPC and check that whatever we consume from PDO, the PDO attestation library, that this actually works with in the way how we would consume it.
Okay, then I guess we will have to, well, take them out from the attestation API in FPC as well, because this is where they are basically.
What do you mean just take them out?
So
no, there are in FPC there are under common crypto attestation API test. You mean? I see. So right now we're so FPC uses those Go files to actually run, However, they only run because we have a Git submodule of PDO crypto in FPC. This is what you meant. Wait, so again, let me try to rephrase it. So in FPC, we have we import the PDO crypto as a submodule in order to consume it, right?
Yeah, but that's the PDO crypto, and
exactly. And then what I understand now is that the test, this Go test we are running inside FPC repository, this test is not part of the FPC repository, but it's part of the PDO library we are importing, and there we run the code.
So I'm not sure I'm getting that. So PDO crypto is one library, and the attestation API that we're talking about is basically a folder with the attestation API and the implementation. And this folder with all the code is already available in FPC. And it's also available in this PR that we are discussing. And in this PR, of course, there is also the ICAP and all the rest. Now, what I'm saying is that the Go conversion routines belong in FPC to the attestation API, are already in that folder. And in fact, I left them even in this PR but commented out because I didn't want to remove them. So
why are they not removed?
Again, because I thought that Marcus wanted to pick them up again and have conversion routines in Go, for example.
Well, yeah, but why do they have to be in this repository?
They don't. But again,
okay, so if there's a they don't, then remove them, add them. I mean, it's like other things. When we write our tests, we don't embed them inside the packages that we're incorporating.
But Bruno, so if you remove them from your PR, they still remain in the FPC repository, or not?
Yeah, they do. But so what I mean is that at some point in FPC, we want to import these attestation API folders somehow.
Okay.
And then you want to use those conversion APIs. So we may want to replace the attestation API that we have right now.
So what we basically, so if you just remove them from your PR and there's no Go code, great, okay. And then at some point when we, let's say PDO is ready, then we have in FPC, we have to basically make two changes. First, we have to do the import of the attestation API to have common code there, right? Which is then provided by PDO. And then also the implementation of this API, the PDO crypto library, I guess. And then in this step, when we remove the attestation API folder from the FPC repository and replace it with the Git submodule, we have to make sure that we pull out our little tests, which are not in the attestation API, and put it somewhere aside and just keep them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I understood that. So easy. So then we should definitely do it like that. So we just have to make sure that we move out the additional tests which are not in the PDO attestation API folder, which are Go specific, just for FPC. We move it out and place it in, I don't know where to place it, but we will place it somewhere that we can keep it in the FPC repository, run the beautiful Go code, which looks like art to me, and and then we are all happy. I think that's great.
That's why I don't like modern art, Marcus.
So let me see if I understood. So So I think we are agreeing that I'm going to remove these from, well, from this PR essentially, and then we'll see how to, well, just keep them in the PDO in the FPC repo.
Yes.
Okay,
Sounds good to me.
that sounds good to me as well.
And what will that do? Cut us from 108 files down to 80 files?
No,
No.
106. I saw 2 Go files.
Oh, dang it. Well, no, because the whole test, if the test is going away, you also have like the CMake stuff around it and a couple of other things.
So you don't want to test the attestation API? Is this what I'm
Not in
hearing?
Go. Not in
So,
Go.
so now let me go back to Mick's comment regarding time in PDO, and let me share quickly. Oh, which one is this? Screen 2. Okay, can you see the code?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so Mick was asking, something like, okay, you removed the SGX SSL EDL from well, in your attestation API, you're not using that. Can you import that in PDO as a separate thing? And I think the answer is it could be done. It's a lot of effort, and but probably we need a lot more discussion in there. So the thing is that we have, for example, this verify as certificate chain, and this is in the attestation API in this PR, and it's also in our PDO repo under crypto. This attestation API, now this API in crypto only has the PEM certificate. In the attestation API, instead, it also has this untrusted time field, second parameter.
So, okay, hang on, pop the stack a little bit. Let's remember. So, Marcus, the problem is that there are TTLs and timestamps on things like the revocation lists and others. Inside the enclave, you do not have, the only way to get time inside the enclave is to call out to the host and ask it for time, which makes it an untrusted value.
Right.
So the host can respond with whatever value it wants. So you cannot, so even though SSL acts like it is trusted time, the fact is that it's not trusted time from the enclave's perspective. So the question is, how do you verify the timeliness of things like timestamps and certificates?
Mick, you're breaking up for me.
Sorry, probably just sticking in front of things. So how do we get the timestamp? How do we check the timestamps? And the answer is there is no way to authoritatively check timestamps.
Right.
So why not just let the host, rather than open the EDL to make the O call for time, which introduces potentially a bunch of problems, why not just pass in, let the host pass in the time, since it's already basically saying this is what the time is. So let's just let the host pass the time in. That was the solution that we came up with. And Bruno's got an issue that describes how that works, which I've also referenced in the PR. So
I see. So the SGX SDK does not have this trusted time API anymore, or it's not supported by many platforms.
there is no trusted time. The trusted time API does an O call out to the host. So you have to trust the host's sense of time. So you could change the clock on the host. And when checking the certificate makes the O call out and says, hey, what's current time? And you get whatever you set on the host time.
Oh, interesting. I thought the trusted time is somehow platform specific implementation or platform dependent implementation of some magic trusted SGX time.
There used to be a trusted timer. It's never been wall clock time.
I see.
But there is no such thing right now.
So what I understand, so we just don't have trusted time, even though the SGX API has some time API. However, if we use this will end up in another O call, which slows down things. So therefore, just passing the time in the beginning into the enclave as a timestamp, and then we're just using this during verification time. This
Precisely.
is how.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
exactly it. It's a really nice solution to the problem, and I don't think it doesn't introduce any new threats.
Okay.
But to be precise, it's not that it slows things down. It's so this is the EDL file. You're using an O-call to get the time from the system. So you're getting untrusted time, untrusted, unverified time here.
Yeah, but what I was saying, Bruno, the reason why I don't want to do this on the certificate verification is that if we're doing this in the contract, it opens up a hole for non-determinism.
If we use the local time.
If I want to do a verification of a certificate in a contract, if I have to make that O call in order to do it, then there's a potential for failure of the call or introduction of non-determinism based on the amount of time that it takes to return from that call.
Yes, that's correct. And unfortunately, this is what is happening.
That's what's happening right now. I know that's what's happening right now. Yeah.
I see.
And
so
what I'm saying is, let's get
present...
rid of that by putting the timestamp in.
Right, and if you present the timestamp manually, you can. In the context of our smart contract world, we can basically track this as an input of the smart contract, and thereby.
Exactly.
That's precisely the point. Yes.
Yep.
Right. Even though it might be not accurate or maybe wrong, we still can blame someone to.
It's auditable. Yes.
It's in the transaction. Cool. Yes.
Oh, that's super sexy. I love that approach.
So.
Right. So you got the gist now. So this is the code. This is the API. Well, the verification API that we have in the crypto library in PDO, just with the PEM certificate. And here you set OpenSSL to, open the trusted store certificate store, and then do all the magic to verify the certificate. These functions here at some point will result in the get time or get time of day, whatever that is, and in the call within SGX SSL.
You do know, Bruno, you do know we are going to introduce you to this amazing concept called smart pointers, right?
Smart what?
Smart pointers.
Smart pointers. Yeah, I guess I need that. I don't know what you're talking about.
They're amazing things. They actually handle automated deallocation for you and a whole bunch of other really nice things.
Oh, yeah. This is where you may want to put your hands as well.
I'm just saying, as soon as you commit it, that's perfectly fine. I will rewrite it.
Right.
I mean, you could do it ahead of time if you want, but I'll rewrite it for you. That's all right.
Yeah, so this has to be revised as well, because there may be memory leaks if there are problems here.
But that's the whole point of the smart pointer, is you don't end up with memory leaks. Oh man, what an amazing concept.
But at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing the time issues that we have, not memory leaks. So here
Well,
in the attestation
so
API,
if you
the
ask me
time
to add
comes.
something to
Yeah.
this conversation, then I could also suggest that we rewrite this in Go, where we have proper garbage collection.
but you have
Oh,
proper garbage collection
ho.
in C++ if you just actually use it correctly. So
The discussion is getting heated between Mick and Marcus.
Oh my god, at least we have fun here. I think it's good to have fun while working. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I'm silent again.
No, yeah. So I was saying that again, this time here comes from the outside. So this in PDO should come from from somewhere, the transaction input or whatever that is. And by doing this trick here, time initialization within OpenSSL. So basically, you set the untrusted time inside there. This prevents OpenSSL from asking for the system time, and the call will not be made. And since the call will not be made, with this you can avoid importing that EDL.
Yay.
2 lines that cause a lot of pain to me, but it is what it is. So at least now we know. So is it easy to? So could this be imported separately in PDO? I wouldn't know where to get this untrusted time from the transaction input at this point. It needs some refactoring essentially.
Yeah, I'm
So in
passing
FPC, you get this untrusted time from the transaction proposal, in case you need to. Just FYI.
Well, yeah, it has to come from somewhere. Here in the attestation API, so to tell you,
from inside the contract, by the way, it's easy for me to do this because I can just require a timestamp as a parameter for any place that has a verification.
so no, I don't have it here. Oh, where is it? Well, let's use this app. So the EPID conversion. This is the same that we have in sort of in FPC, and this gets the quote and then asks IS to get the verification report. And what I have here is in this conversion, I just take the untrusted time from the system at conversion time and put it inside the JSON in the converted blob to evidence, ready to be sent somewhere for verification. So yeah, I just inject the untrusted time there. Now in PDO and FPC, maybe this should be done in a different way. And I think I gave you all the info that I wanted to give you.
So this looks good, Bruno. And I would suggest let's not backpatch to the existing EPID stuff at all. I assume you've verified that all this code actually works if we're not using, that you haven't broken anything in the simulator builds.
No, I think I tested that. It should be okay.
Good.
in sim mode it builds, but it doesn't run any hardware mode test, of course.
So from hearing that, I guess you didn't make any progress on getting SGX GitHub runners talked about a couple of months ago.
Well, you're talking about for SGX, because we've got the SGX and the Docker stuff, but we have not done anything with the SGX runners.
Well, I'm talking about running GitHub actions on a machine, on an external runner. I think that's a proper term, which is capable of SGX, that you can actually run the integration tests on sexy hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that. No.
I'm just trying to get Docker images that I can build and retrieve. So
that would be super cool.
That would make life so much easier for so many things. So
were you lucky with the scripts I provided? The
Yep.
FPC?
Yeah, they actually look like I have a workflow for building the images that I'm testing. I still have to go back to Dave to see about how to get the repository secrets in the Hyperledger repos.
Yeah.
I can do it in my own. I can do it in my own. But that's because I can control the secrets. So I have not even tried to figure out how to test it in the main repo.
Right. Yeah, I think since we are, we FPC is part of Fabric, I believe they already put the right credentials somewhere, so I did not have to do anything, I believe. I just had to add those few commands for the Docker login in the script, and then magic.
And if you look at the settings that I have access to in the Hyperledger repos does not even include creation of secrets at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have to have admin access, which obviously I don't. So
yeah, but I mean, Rai should be able to do that.
I think Rai can do it, and that's why I'm saying is that I can either talk to Dick Boswell or Rai, Rai will ultimately be the one to do it if it gets done. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
But I want to make sure I've got the right trigger actions and that I'm doing it as efficiently as possible. So the goal is to be able to build PDO, push the images, and then build the contracts and pull the images from the PDO repo. So
yeah, I think that sounds super sexy. And I think, with FPC, we just have one repo, but there, I think the crucial part to save also some bandwidth was, I talked about this little filter function, which tried to detect if there are changes in the Docker folder. And if so, build the Docker image completely from scratch. If not, just pull the one from the GitHub registry.
Correct. But the difference is that if you make a change to if you make a change to let's take PDO. So Bruno's made changes to the attestation API. That filter would not kick in because it's not a change on the Docker files.
Exactly. I think
that's why I'm kind of kicking them off right now on if you tag a version, it will push the image back.
Right. I think that makes sense. For us, the key part was this, the FPC dev runtime container. We wanted to track the changes to that, and only then we built this up, because we're not publishing any FPC specific components like, I don't know, in an enclave registry chain code image, which we could in theory, but we don't do that. We just have the developer image there, which I think, I mean, maybe you saw it already. I have finally the time to leave a little bit of feedback on this Hello World PR.
Oh, I didn't see
And
feedback on it. I actually checked earlier in the week. So
yeah, well, I think it has like 24 comments.
oh, nice. Thank you, sir. I will get to it.
You're welcome. I mean, I can give you a short summary. I think it was very helpful and a good way to start. However, I set myself a goal. It was a Sunday where I did this review, and I said, well, let's spend an hour, not more, and see how far I can come. And then at some point I said, well, no, let's do it in 45 minutes. And then in the end, it was more than an hour anyway. So I was not able to actually write some code and execute it in the end of the day. And I was constantly going back and forth between those install markdowns and looking there and trying to run make. And I did not find the point, okay, do those 3 commands, and then maybe you have something like a all-in-one Docker container which contains everything already to test it. And maybe it's there, but I didn't find it. But I thought it's there because I guess you guys told me at some point, yeah, we have this already, but I didn't find the information easily. But I guess, I mean, what you were saying, I mean, if you're now working on this PDO Docker images, which then can be pulled to test, to run the stuff, right? Then maybe if there's also a PDO contracts dev container where I can just mount my PDO contracts repository into, and then I have all the Jupyter Books Python versions installed without having anything on my machine.
Yes,
that would be the starting point I had envisioned.
Yeah, that's an absolutely wonderful request. It's really just making another Docker file down there. I mean, we build the image for it. The problem is we're not mounting in any reasonable way the local contracts subdirectory that would allow you to build it. So I think that's a fantastic suggestion. So it's not hard to do either. I'll add that in. I think you're exactly right. I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I just look at my comments. I mean, there are, I think some or many comments you can also just ignore because there were typical Marcus comments getting, I don't know, very picky on naming conventions or, well, maybe they're not relevant. Maybe I just have to get used to the language of that project at some point. But I mean, again, I just wanted to just write down, okay, the things which happened in my head when I was reading this and what I connected. I mean, what the picture was I was building. I mean, and it's not about what's the right or the wrong terminology. It doesn't matter in the end, right? But just expressing here what Marcus saw in the theater this evening.
Nope, okay. That's great feedback. And I'll go ahead and do it. And again, it's really just trying to break out of my own patterns and think about it from somebody else's viewpoint, which is
absolutely. I think that's totally
that's
valuable
exactly
for
what the
any
hard part is
person
of this
and project.
Oh,
yeah. All right. I think we are anyway out of time. I need to rush home now before it's getting dark.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, go through the comments if you have more questions. I don't know, ping me, or just request the review if you would have another look.
Okay, I'll do that. That's really helpful. Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. All right, then have a great day, guys, and talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah, good discussion. Bye everyone.